Okay. Sorry. This is why I stay behind the camera.
Hey fellow travelers, welcome to Connecting Over Coffee. My name's Louisa and today we are coming to you live from London. Yes.
Indeed. Sunny London.
Oh yeah, real sunny.
Sunny day.
Just like pouring.
It's pouring rain. Oh my goodness.
Pouring rain. But that's so typical anyway. Today we have Luke Parlin and Keith Brown.
Hello.
Do you want to tell everybody just a little bit about yourself?
Keith, take it away.
Okay. I'm a graphic designer. I guess we can go into why I was here later. I'm also the editor of this show.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Most of the day. The
Most of the
podcast.
time.
The main episodes.
And I am also the fiance of your host.
Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah.
Like you. And Luke?
Cool. Yeah, as Louisa said, my name's Luke. I'm a friend of Keith's, actually. We met doing our master's degrees in London, but I'm originally from Boston. And I'm a game designer.
Yeah.
Boston, yes.
Boston.
Which you would think we'd be enemies because I'm from New York.
I mean, we don't talk about baseball, but...
There you go.
Yes, baseball's off the table. Yankees, that's Red Sox.
But you know what? When you're 3,500 miles away from your home country, Boston and New York don't seem that different.
Yeah.
No, they're about the same equidistance.
Exactly.
Same time, what's that called?
Time zone?
Yes.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Early in the morning, that's why we got the coffee.
Yeah.
So the first question I have is going to be actually different for both of you because
Sure.
you are still here in London and you are now back in the States.
No, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. So how long have you been in London for now?
I've lived in London 3 years almost to the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because we're in September.
That's
yeah,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for Keith, how long?
I lived here for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost exactly.
About a year and a half. So.
Okay. And then what inspired you to move to London? Who wants to go first?
You want to go first? We'll go in order.
Counterclockwise.
Yeah.
Moving to London was actually kind of a last minute decision for me, but it was something I'd wanted to do for a while. I wanted to study in Europe. I speak some French, some Spanish, but not good enough to do any real studying. And what I love about London is it feels very European, but you can get by in English.
Totally.
Also, if the red hair doesn't give it away, my heritage is predominantly Irish, Scottish, so
You can blend in.
yeah, I do all right.
Kind of just
Until I open my mouth, and
Yes,
then
exactly. That's
all bets are off.
And Keith, what inspired you to move to London?
Well, if my hair gives it away, I'm also predominantly Irish. No, I'm slightly Irish. We came here together in 2014, and even though most of our trip was in Paris, our 2 days in London was my favorite, and I really liked it here. And there was a point where I was working full-time in New York City at Grand Central, but not that I didn't like my job, I just knew, like, my childhood dream was to get into games. So I was looking like, okay, maybe I can do my master's. And actually speaking with you, because we were dating at the time, you were just like, why don't you do your master's in London? You know, so I did some research into it.
Well, I don't think I said London specifically. I think I said Europe because I knew that it would be a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you
like
chose London.
looking into it, it was very much cheaper than the American education system.
Yes.
I always tell people, travel, living expenses, everything all in, tuition.
Yeah.
I spent less than I probably would have on just tuition in the U.S.
Yes.
If you ever get the opportunity to study in Europe,
definitely go for it.
yeah, much more.
But then, well, if you said Europe, I do not speak any other languages. I struggle with learning other languages, so I knew I didn't have to struggle here.
Yeah.
So I definitely picked the UK.
Easy.
Yes. But I didn't know I was going to do London. I actually looked at a couple other cities as well.
What else did you look at?
I think I looked at Manchester.
Sure,
Okay.
I didn't know that.
for a couple of schools.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did. I remember now. It's been a while. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually thought you meant like other cities in the world, but
Oh no.
you meant in the UK.
I meant in the UK.
They
Yeah.
speak English in Singapore, sort of.
True. So, based on that, so I know personally, but they don't, that
Sure.
you guys came here for school.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Like the process of coming here or studying here?
Yeah, I guess the process of coming here. Let's start with that.
Gosh. Yeah, so for me it was a very last minute decision. I knew I wanted to study. I was planning on doing it in the US. And as Keith alluded to, I thought, you can save a boatload of money going to London, but also get the experience of living in Europe.
Yeah. What did you study?
So I studied game design.
You both studied.
As did Keith.
Yes.
And that's how they met.
Yes. One thing that's interesting about London from a games industry perspective is the UK games industry is a lot smaller than the American games industry.
Yes.
But it's all concentrated around London. So I don't think there's a single place in the US, maybe LA, but not quite, where you have such a concentration of talent just for one industry.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons that coming to London kind of made sense professionally and academically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when was the moment that like it hit you that you were moving to London?
Sorry.
Well, yours is like last minute.
Yeah. So
The day of.
no, well, it was the morning of. I got my visa, I think 3 days before I was meant to take off to London, but it was wrong. They got me, instead of a 1.5 year visa, they got me a 1.5 week visa.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so the day before I flew, I went to the embassy in an absolute panic saying, look, I'm supposed to fly tomorrow. Can you fix my visa for tomorrow? And unlike the normal visa process where you mail in your passport and it's all very official, I literally handed my passport to some guy behind a plexiglass window and was like, I hope this works out. So I had a 1 p.m. flight, and at 9 a.m. I got my passport back from the British. So when did it hit me I was going to London? About 2 hours before I boarded the plane. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that story.
I was hair's breadth away.
Yeah, that would stress me so much.
Oh yeah, I was a wreck.
Oh my gosh. What about you?
I think maybe a couple of weeks before, because at that time I was trying to make sure like, okay, I have to see like everybody I know in New York before I leave.
Yeah.
And then there was also like a little party, but definitely like packing everything up. It's interesting you say about the visa, because my visa was only valid for like a month.
Really?
Huh.
But you're supposed to get your BRP when you get here.
Oh,
and that's supposed to count as your visa.
Did you say
BRP,
I was gonna ask.
biometric residence permit.
Okay.
Yes.
Essentially, it's like an ID.
Yes, it looks like a driver's license. It looks vaguely like this. Let me cover up my whatever number is on there.
If anything,
Thank you,
I can
internet, but I don't
blur
trust
it
you
on
fully.
post.
But yeah, it's like a driver's license, and yeah.
Yeah, and that basically counts as your visa. For like any kind of official that's just like, are you supposed to be in this country? You show them
was
that.
it extended then, because yours was only for a month?
The
when you got that-
BRP, which I had to get through the school, was my 1.5 year visa essentially. The visa that was on my passport was only so I can get into the country, and it gave me time to get the BRP.
Yeah. That actually, Keith's right. It was the same for me as well. But what I had on my passport didn't even cover me for.
So
something
you had to
different.
even make the time.
Yes,
to
because
get
it did take a while before we got those cards.
Wow.
Yeah, they take a while to come in the mail. Actually, the year we moved here, 2015, I think was the first year they did plastic.
Yes, because no one knew what it was when we actually had to show people.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
wow.
it was very new at the time.
Yeah, you'd show them to, a police officer or somebody official, and they'd say, I don't know.
Yeah,
what
they'd
this
be like,
is.
I don't know, is this fake or you
It
can't?
came from your government.
Exactly. We'd be like, we got it from you, so.
Well, hopefully by now, 3 years later.
Yeah, no,
like,
now it's
totally-
standard. Now it's standardized.
Oh, wow. And then, so it hit you, you're moving to London. How did your family and your friends take this news?
I'll let you take this one.
My friends were supportive, excuse me. and also a little surprised because no offense to anybody watching, my group of friends are very used to, I guess, the mentality of like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then not do it. Not necessarily them, but I'm saying they know people.
Yeah,
like
follow through.
Yeah, follow through. Like I even remember one of my friends saying like, you were the first person where like they said they were gonna do this big thing, and then you actually did it.
Yeah.
You actually went through with it. So that was definitely a big thing. And then, my brother had already moved, so I barely saw him at that time anyway.
Yeah.
And then my father, it didn't hit my father until like the week before, where he's just like, "Oh, you're not here. You're not gonna be here anymore."
Yeah.
And the hardest part, I'm sorry to call you out, Pop. When he dropped me off at the airport, that was the first time I saw my father cry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Pop.
Yeah.
It's a big change. It's a long way away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't give my family much time to kind of think on it, but
Kind of just ran out the door like, "I'll see you like in a year. Bye."
no, but you know what? I've been seeing my current girlfriend, Korean. She's lovely. Long distance for about a year before moving here. So actually, that was a factor in my gravitation towards London. But I remember I was, packing early in the AM the night before, right before I went to get my visa, and my mom looked at me and she goes, "You're not coming back, are you?" And I said, "No, it's only for a year." Mm-hmm. But she knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My family was supportive, but
No, I guess they probably put two and two together, like, oh, well, school program, game design, something you love.
yeah.
And then girlfriend, someone you love. So,
The pulls to London were strong.
Yeah. And it's like, well, why would he come back? He's got the two things that he loves to do over there.
Yeah.
So I could understand that.
Yeah. I didn't have that. I just wanted to be in London.
Aw. What kind of visas did you guys receive exactly? I know we kind of brushed on the topic, but like, what were the specific?
It was I want to say tier 2.
Tier 2 is professional. We were tier 4. Tier 4 student visas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And they typically last for how long?
Until your school.
Until you're done.
Well, I think 6 months after your school work has finished.
Yeah, they give you a bonus 6 months, which I always thought is kind of generous.
So you don't have to renew it while you're here. It just
No.
Oh, wow.
But we did have to check in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every month we had to make an appearance at our school because they were our sponsor, saying that we hadn't fled the country or gone
basically
missing.
that we were still around, we were still in school.
Gotcha.
Actually, for international viewers, Americans, Canadians, a number of other European countries, the monitoring is pretty relaxed. But certain countries, particularly countries where there's currently conflict, like in the Middle East, the visa monitoring is really strict.
Yeah.
I think they judge that as a higher flight risk, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, there's no renewal, just some light monitoring.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. And what were some of the requirements that you needed to do or have?
You had to have proof that you were enrolled first.
Okay.
Not just enrolled, that you were accepted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had to show your acceptance letter and like what the program would be, and I think also like the financial situation.
Had to have some money in the bank.
Okay.
Yeah, so you had to prove. I forget how much it was. I think it was like 3,000.
Was it like I know that they are usually like about, you have to have enough to survive or something in the money?
On my current visa, which is a year, I had to prove like 950 pounds untouched for 3 months. So for a year and a half, I can't imagine it was 3K. Maybe it was. I don't know.
I
thought it was like $1,000.
really don't remember because I had already saved up plenty of money at
So
that
it wasn't
time.
a
So I was
thing.
just like,
Yeah.
here's my bank statement. You go ahead.
No, the only kind of gotcha is the money has to have not moved for at least 3 months.
Yeah.
So if you have a balance spread across multiple bank accounts,
It won't work.
it won't work. And that's the only thing where I talked about how last minute I was. Had I not had that in order, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
absolutely.
just read the fine print, make sure
All the boxes are checked.
all the boxes
Yes.
are ticked. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. What were your first accommodations here?
We were both in student accommodation.
Well, I was in the official student accommodation. You were in a privatized student accommodation.
Yeah. Which, anyway, mixed bags. But it was one difference between British student accommodation and American student accommodation is in the UK you get your own bathroom, which is
that's
So much
delightful.
better.
yeah, delightful,
Yeah.
absolutely delightful.
It's probably like your sanctuary too.
Do you want to talk about yours first, or?
Oh yeah, sure. As Keith mentioned, it was private student accommodation. It was unjustifiably expensive for what I got. I got effectively a dorm room, but they had like a common area and they had washer dryers.
Yes.
And the biggest benefit and the reason I picked the place was because it was a 3-minute walk from campus, so I could kind of roll out of bed and wind up to class on time.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Your common area was great too, because
Yeah.
that's where we spent most of our, I guess, free time. Not free time, but like where we would hang out with everybody. So after we had made a group of friends, we would always be like, well, we need a place to like all hang out. That's not the school, because the school kicks us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you had a very big lounge that had a pool table, couches, 2 TVs.
It was
that you could
really
hook up
nice.
games
Oh,
to.
that's a nice like.
And
Like-
nobody
Nice common area.
used it. We were the only people
Yeah,
who used
it was really
Yeah.
rare that we would see other students come hang out there. Like maybe we would see like 1 or 2 like kind of just sitting there on their phone.
Yeah.
And I think one other time a group of people came downstairs and watched a game, like a soccer game,
watch like a football
game.
match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did you have rooms by yourselves then? Like you had your own room, like you'd have to share it with like a roommate.
Well, you did.
I did, yeah.
My living situation was not. So
Well, you had your own like.
well, I had I
room
had
bed.
my own
Yeah,
bedroom.
that's kind of what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, because I know from in the States, like we usually share. Rooms.
Yeah, you get your own.
You get a
bedroom.
room, but you have to share the room with
Yes.
someone else.
So with my student accommodation with the actual school, it was about maybe a 15-20 minute walk to the school. But they had buses, like it was official buses that picked everybody up and it would take you to the school.
Shuttle buses.
Yeah.
Those are free, right?
Yeah,
of course.
the shuttle buses were free. Yeah. I don't think you ever had to really show your ID, like student ID. They kind of just like the bus drivers kind of like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
Even
you
now,
look like a student.
even now, I've like walked onto a uni bus and been like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm going in that direction."
Yeah,
Like,
but
if you're going, I'm gonna join you.
Yeah.
So essentially, it was like kind of like a dorm campus. So they had, like, I guess, was essentially apartment buildings,
Yeah.
just in the area surrounding this one. We also had a common area. It wasn't as big though, but like one common area, and that's where like security and check-in would be in the center, and the flats themselves. So the flat would be 4 people. Rooms were not equal size, even though you paid equally,
Oof.
which
Yeah.
that upsetted me, because if you had like, it was like, depending on the floor, it'd be A, B, and C, and then it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you had a 1, you had the biggest room of the flat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was upset because I had the smallest version
Oh.
of everybody's flat.
You guys had kitchens though, didn't you?
Yeah, so each flat, basically you would have your own bedroom and your own bathroom, but you'd have a communal kitchen with a small little table.
Gotcha.
And it was everybody's responsibility to clean the kitchen, even though some people did not.
Did you guys suffer any culture shock?
I still suffer culture shock. I've been here 3 years. No, every day there's little things. Often things that seem the most similar. It's the easiest to spot the differences. Literally every day I've been here for 3 years, there's been something that is just a little bit different. I mean, there are the obvious ones when you arrive. Oh, the cars are on the other side of the road. Oh, people, call it football instead of soccer, or say flat instead of apartment, chips instead of crisps,
Yeah.
or crisps instead of chips.
Yep, that one.
Gosh, I've been here too long. But no, every day there will be a little thing, whether it's kind of common cultural currency, like understanding how school works. They don't have elementary school, middle school, high school. It's primary school, secondary school.
Tertiary
Yeah,
school?
no. Then there's like A levels, GCSEs, college, which is sort of like the last 2 years of high school, then university, which is what we call. So yeah, tons of culture shock.
The grading system is very different too.
Oh yeah, that was
So like
peculiar.
which kind of threw us off a little bit when we first started our grades coming in. So here, if you get a 70 or above, that's an A plus, which is very different than the America system, where if you get below a 70, you basically failed. Some schools it's like 60.
I think 76 is A plus, 70 is A minus.
Yeah.
But everything above 76, like a 76 being the same as a 90.
Yeah, exactly. So that
God,
that was
I'd be
weird.
so upset, I think.
So like I don't think, what was it? You needed like a 30 to fail. No.
Yeah, it was absolutely ludicrous. But I don't know if that's UK wide or just Kingston.
I'm pretty sure that's UK wide.
I think it's common, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that was culture shock, having to adjust, seeing a 70
Yes.
on well, not a report
Like
card.
as American students, when you see
That's
a
like a
70, you're
C
just like,
minus.
damn, how did I
Yeah.
do so bad? You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you got like a 90 and it's still the same thing as like an A plus 70,
Yes.
I would be kind of upset.
And that was interesting too, because we had projects rather than like tests, so like it wasn't like a questionnaire, or like there wasn't a solid wrong or right answer. It was just kind of like rate on like how well was your essay and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So to see that was just strange, you know, because like I said, you think you get it's really rare to see someone get like an 80 or higher, actually.
Yeah, super rare.
To the point
They just don't
where
give them.
we actually, for my final project, I did a group project for my dissertation, and majority of us in the group got over 80, and the school board actually went to our professor and was just like, "Are you sure?" You know, because like they thought it was weird that we did so well on the project.
Yeah.
Wow.
They thought it was like kind of like something unethical might be going on, but like our professor actually fought for us. It was like, no, they deserve this grade.
Wow.
And you guys did. I mean, that's maybe a subject for another podcast. But
Yeah.
you guys, they're part of like an international game development competition, and it was amazing. Really, you guys did a great job.
Oh wow. At any point did you guys ever feel homesick? Was he gonna say every
No,
day?
because I had Keith, who's my best friend.
Hey.
I say that tongue in cheek, but I mean, yeah, it's natural to experience homesickness. I think one of the reasons Keith and I bonded so early on was I said I'm from Boston. I lived in New York 5 years before moving, to London. So I think day zero.
Yeah, it was
Keith
just
and I
like,
were
you're from New York, I'm
"Hey!"
from New York, and it was like,
So yeah, there was homesickness, but then it was so nice to have a friend who we, and also speaking of culture shock, it was so nice to have a friend to whom
who
you could
understood
say,
things,
like this is a little weird. Are you?
Yeah.
Man.
Is it
like,
just
well,
me?
yeah.
yeah, or even like just like American idioms. Is that the word?
Americanisms is a
Yeah.
British word.
Americanism.
What's something to this day that the Brits do that you just don't understand?
Oh, that's such a good question, and I
I
wish.
have one.
Yeah. All right.
They call everything tea.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean?
Get
I mean, like, so,
out
like-
of here.
Like, so if a native British person will ask you for tea, it can mean like 3 different things.
Okay, all right. So tea is a beverage. Well, this is coffee. Tea is a beverage. In Boston, we dumped it in the harbor because we didn't want to pay taxes on it. Tea can also mean afternoon tea, which is a meal during which tea, the beverage, is served.
But that's more of like, you get like the biscuits
Yep.
and a snack and stuff like that.
Yeah, afternoon
But then
tea.
if it was late in the afternoon, if someone asked you over for tea, they would mean dinner. Like a full, would you like to come over for dinner?
They'll say, "Oh yeah, I'll invite you around for tea," and I'll go, "Yes, I am thirsty," and they go, "No, we're serving a pot roast
Yeah.
Interesting.
for tea." Anyway, yeah, I do not
So
understand that.
that's like confusing to me. Just on like, how do you know which is being
tea
yeah,
you're
which
in line
do you
for.
like?
Maybe
which,
it's a time of day tea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you
yeah,
should
it's
just
like,
know.
it's like you gotta look at the time for like, okay, you mean this kind of tea.
It's kind of
That
like the
was-
French. You say bonjour and you say bonsoir, and it's like usually like after a certain time you
You
switch it over.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get that, but
That's a perfect example though of just a British quirk that I'll never adjust to.
And what's something that you wish the States would incorporate that the Brits do?
Oh, that's also a really good question. You know what? This is specific to London and not the UK, but on an escalator in London, if you want to walk on the escalator, you can walk on the left, and if you want to stand on the escalator, you stand on the right. It's a really great system. The escalators are hardly ever congested in London.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of in practice in a
Yeah,
sense, but like most people
Yeah,
just
New
don't
York uses
care.
it. Right, but in London,
Then
it's
you
really
get the few that just don't like give a damn.
Yeah.
in London, it's like enforced though. It's
Yeah, like there are signs everywhere that say "stand on the right."
Yeah.
You know?
and also somebody you know, well, the British are very polite, but you'll get kind of sternly tutted at for
Excuse me.
yeah. Yeah, there's so much beauty in the UK.
For me, I think what I think the U.S. could use is efficiency.
Efficiency.
Just because like all the outlets have a switch on them.
Oh yeah.
So like if you want to plug something in, it's not automatically pulling power. It's like you have to turn it on. So I think you save a lot of like electricity like that.
Yeah.
And then for like the bathrooms, they have 2 buttons for your toilet. So like one for if you're just taking a whiz, and then another if you're doing a poop.
Yeah.
You know, so like saving on water and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're little standardization actually in a country that's vaguely socialist is and the UK is really a capitalist nation, but with the bits of socialism and kind of larger government than the US has come certain elements of standardization that work really, really well.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I have lightning round for you guys.
Let's do it.
Okay. So first thing that comes to mind. You ready?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Wait. If we're going lightning, let's establish an order.
No, just do it. Just spit it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
As much as you possibly can. Anyway.
Sure.
Okay.
Ready? New York City or London?
London.
You can't pick. You can't pick.
You had to pick just one.
It's harder for you because
I live in London. I will
Yeah.
continue to live in London. There are certain things about New York that no other city in the world gets as right. That's another podcast.
I've been in New York my whole life, so I'm kind of like over it.
Yeah.
Jaded New Yorker.
Yeah, I'm jaded. I'm jaded. Like I got spoiled. I was like, I'm done with this.
London.
Okay. Cruises or flights?
Flights.
Flights.
Okay. British or American cuisine?
American.
American.
Sorry. England does a really good job with other countries' cuisines, but
With their own.
Yeah.
Okay. A book you recommend?
Sorry, this is a little dry. I recently read a book called Hooked. I'm forgetting the author, but it's about kind of gamification.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have that book. That's a really good book.
It's got a terrific yellow cover.
Yes. I totally forgot the name.
I can't think of the author's name.
Like it's a Emir. It's like a yeah. Okay, I'll link
In
it.
the edit, we
I'll
can
link
put
it.
a text here
Yeah.
or here.
Or I will put the text. No.
Yeah, Keith will put the text in. Do you have a book you'd recommend?
The first book that comes to mind is actually the 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Interesting. I didn't know you read that book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read that in like high school and I really enjoyed it. It's very eye opening on just like who you are as a person and how you affect different people in life, and just it's very I don't want to say spiritual, because even though it has to deal with like heaven,
Yeah.
but it's just a good book to read.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that book. I did read. Actually, it's kind of funny. You both recommended books that I've totally read.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna happen.
To be fair, my library is not very
The Art of the Deal.
No, but the truth is, I didn't know you read that book. So I was actually completely shocked that you chose that book.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
amazing. Okay. Map or Google Maps?
Google Maps. Sorry, paper.
Google Maps. I need to know where I am. Like,
Okay. Old-timey explorer's map drawn on like sheepskin in the 70s. Okay, I'll give that over Google Maps because that shit was hard to create. But Google Maps.
Because for the art. You just
Yeah, for the artistry of it.
Okay. Traveling alone or with friends?
Friends. I've only solo traveled once, and then it was to meet up with somebody. I'm a pack animal. I like being with people.
same. I've never solo traveled except for when I showed up here, which I guess doesn't really count because I moved. But yeah, I'd rather travel with people
With people?
if I have to travel.
A movie you recommend?
Oh, that's so hard because it's like, I want to think of something like cool and worthwhile.
we could like say like a movie
one
based in London or
of
something.
one of my favorite movies actually is Man on Fire.
Okay.
But it's with Denzel Washington, you know, the greatest. No, and
The greatest of all
by
time.
I believe the director is Tony Scott, and I just feel like it's kind of a long movie, but it's like half of it is like character development, and then the other half is kind of like action.
Cool.
So it's just like you get like really invested into the plot of the movie, and then you're just like, yeah, action. So
Yeah, that's true.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Henry Cavill and Alicia Vikander. It's like if James Bond took itself even less seriously. It's entertainment.
yes.
Go watch it.
Also, those are two. I don't want to say foreign films, but they take place in foreign countries. So
Yeah.
because Man
There
on
you
Fire mainly
Interesting
takes place
choices.
in Mexico. Don't watch it if you're trying to get a good idea of what Mexico is about.
No, but we have a whole podcast on that.
Yes.
Link in...
Somewhere.
Sorry, editor.
No, we're gonna. Well,
It'll be at the end.
it'll be coming out after this one, so.
So in the future...
In
Yes,
the future.
in the future.
Well, I'll update the link maybe if you're watching this months after.
Role playing games or multiplayer online, which I think is like MMO, but I totally forgot what that.
What about both? An online role-playing... I don't know.
Choose one or the other.
Role-playing games. I like a story.
I also like a story, but I feel like
You love it.
my time has gotten more limited, so
Yeah.
I can't get as invested as I used to. So I like MMO just so I can get into it, have my fun, and then get out without having to worry about like, but the plot,
true.
you know.
Yeah.
That's true.
And being sucked into it. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
So like,
just
I can
one
just like,
more.
oh, I just can do a couple of matches before bed and call it a night.
Yeah, I play way more multiplayer games nowadays.
Okay. Mr. Softy or Gelato?
I don't know what Mr. Softy is.
That's.
You're not a New Yorker.
5
Mr.
years
Softy.
in New York. How would you not have Mr. Softy?
I guess I'm not the real deal. So gelato. Take that, New York.
Mr. Softy doesn't come to the Upper East Side, I guess.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not.
That might be.
That might be true.
Yorkville is a neighborhood.
Yorkville is a totally different neighborhood than
Yeah.
Upper East Side.
We flirt with the Upper East Side,
Yeah.
and also Spanish Harlem. So
Did you choose? No.
Mr. Softy.
Mr. Softy.
Yes.
Okay.
sorry, New York.
Dry or sweet wine?
Oh, dry.
Neither.
Good
I
answer.
can't, I'm sorry, I just can't. I have had numerous types of
Who
wine.
drinks?
I
So
don't drink
nice
wine
for
though.
you.
I have had wine messes me up every time, to the point where like the next morning I feel sick. So I don't mess with wine.
They do say
anymore.
wine drunk is the best drunk. Wine hungover is the worst hungover. I have heard
Yes,
it.
I have gotten really drunk off of wine and had some crazy nights, but I always feel like terrible.
I feel like poop
Yeah,
after.
so I do not drink
Dry
wine.
wine, preferably French. Californian wine tastes like grape juice.
Oh yeah,
they add sugar to it.
dad is a wine connoisseur, so
Yeah. He is. He's a total snob.
Okay. Window seat or aisle?
Ooh, depends on the length of the journey. Window. I like to see stuff.
window. I don't like to get up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
we always have to like
especially on short flights, it's easier. Longer flights are like eventually you're gonna have to get up to use the bathroom, but short flights, like I don't want someone next to me like while I'm like plugged into whatever I'm doing, just like I gotta.
Yeah, I gotta get in. I gotta get
What
in.
about the middle seat between the window and the aisle?
like
Sorry,
the worst
that is
seat.
the worst seat.
First seat and the faces upon it. Okay. I know what Keith's gonna say to this one, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Latte or a hot chocolate?
I mean, Keith's gonna choose wrong, but
I'm
joking.
He's gonna choose neither.
I'm gonna choose neither.
wait, you don't like hot chocolate?
He doesn't like.
I don't-
he
I'm
doesn't
not
like
a fan of
Oh
chocolate.
He
yeah,
doesn't
no,
like
you know, I'm
coffee.
thinking Mo. Always has
Mo
hot chocolate.
gets
He's the
like-
hot chocolate
Yeah,
guy.
Mo
Mo's hot-
loves
but
hot
latte.
chocolate.
Actually, neither. Black coffee.
Mo's
Burnt
my friend.
black coffee, please, from a food cart.
Yes. So I'm
70
not
Yeah.
that into chocolate, and I don't like the smell of coffee.
Oh, rest
So-
it. Rest
So
Okay.
I love it every time that you have a cup of coffee and just so
You know,
joyous.
I know, like, I understand the taste of coffee being off-putting, but the smell?
And I think the smell is like the best part.
It's
Really?
intoxicating.
I guess like as a kid, was surrounded by people with bad coffee breath.
Oh, yeah.
So
all
now,
right.
like, even though
Sorry about
coffee
that.
is not as bad as coffee breath,
Yeah, coffee breath
but
is
like
rough.
I'm just like, and I'm afraid because I play video games, so I have addictive personality. That if I start drinking coffee, I cannot go out throughout my day without a cup of coffee. I don't want
I'm
to
a
be one
total
of those
addict.
people.
It's
You should.
indefensible. You're a stronger man than I.
And if you're curious, this is water.
This is coffee.
Yeah, well, I have my coffee, but this is water now. Okay, last one.
Imposters.
Well, globetrotter or world traveler?
I don't know the difference. Unless you're talking about the basketball team.
No. What title would you like to be? What title would you like to be called?
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It's
I prefer world traveler.
I'd take world traveler. Yeah. Citizen of the world. Go even. Yeah.
I kind of like that. I might use that for the next lightning
citizen
round.
of the world.
Just like world traveler or citizen of the world. I like that.
So we all come from one place. That is the world.
That's true.
Your planet Earth is my home.
Bonus trivia. Do you know the scientific name for the moon? It's the moon. There's no like Latin name. It's just the moon.
Well, in different languages, Luna.
Right.
Lune.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but it has many names. But yes, I am sorry, just the moon.
You can edit that out. This could be like when the credits are rolling.
Like bloopers. Oh, just gonna give it there. Okay, well, that's literally all the questions I have for today. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. Me and Keith have a flight to catch right now, heading back to LA, London.
Always delighted to spend time with you guys.
Thank you.
Let's do it again soon.
Yes, absolutely. We have to.
Episode 2.
Yes.
London cuisine.
Yes. Actually, we're going to probably do like an LA cuisine like coming up.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, I knew you would.
So look forward to that.
I need to come to LA now.
I'll ding that bell. I'll smash that like button.
All right, awesome. So until next time, stay safe and stay traveling.
Adios, guys.
Bye.
Bye.